Bihari. Gopi Chana Bhagava Girivajachari. Gopi Chana Bhagava Girivajachari. Yasodanandana Bhajajana Ranjana. Yasodanandana Bhajajana Ranjana. Yamuna Chira Vanachari. Yamuna Chira Vanachari. Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Vihari. Gopi Jana Vallabha Girivajachari. Yasodanandana Bhajajana Ranjana. Yamuna Chira Vanachari. Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Vihari. Madhava Kunja Vihari. Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Vihari. Grantaraj Srimad Bhagavatam Ki Jai, Srila Prabhupada Ki Jai, Gaur Premanandi. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Good morning, everyone. Today we are reading from the Srimad Bhagavatam, third canto, chapter. I think we're starting a new chapter. You finished chapter yesterday, yes? Chapter 4? And somebody left. Who left? Uddhava, yes. Uddhava has just left. And was Vidura happy about that? Oh, what was one of the feelings Vidura had? Anybody remember from the text? He felt a huge appreciation that, as Uddhava had told him, that Krishna remembered Vidura. at the time of when Krishna left the planet, Vidura was like, and he remembered me. So we could just imagine the impact of that, if we have someone very dear to us and they remember us when they either leave town or they leave the planet, that's a lasting memory. You could think about the impact on Vidura's life from that. But he still wanted to hear Harikatha. He wanted to hear about Krishna because he had just been informed by Uddhava that, Krishna just spent these hours with me explaining transcendental knowledge. And Vidura begged him, but now, can you share now? Can you share? He was too distraught. He was too, he too also was affected by someone remembering him when they left. So, and he had just left that place. So he was still kind of shaken, although we did get a little glimpse of what his mind was in chapter 2 and 3. But still, to go into the depth that Vidura wanted, it was too much for Uddhava. He just wanted to continue his pilgrimage and to go to where the Lord had ordered him. So he had an order. He was also carrying an order of the Lord. He wasn't just haphazardly saying, no, I'll see you later. I got my own program. But he had a program given to him by the Lord to go and associate with Narayan rishis. So now Vidura but Uddhava didn't just leave him with the no. He said, just near here, just very close here, there's Maitreya, who actually sat in on that conversation with me and Lord Krishna. So he is just as capable to give you to answer all your questions and to have that katha that you are longing for. So that's where we pick up for this chapter. This chapter begins with that, you could say, first initial contact between Vidura and Maitreya. So we will read, we're supposed to cover texts 1 through 16. So why don't we pass the microphone around and read it, the first 16 translations.
Shukadev Goswami said, Vidura, the best amongst the Kuru dynasty, who was perfect in devotional service to the Lord, thus reached the source of the celestial Ganges River, Hardwar, where Maitreya, the great fathomless learned sage of the world, was seated. Vidura, who was perfect in gentleness and satisfied in transcendence, inquired from him.
What does fathomless mean?
You can't measure the depth of it.
Yeah, in nautical terms, they judge depth by fathoms. And I don't know what a fathom is to feet, but it doesn't matter because it's fathomless. There is no calculation of his learnedness. Okay, text 2.
Vidura said, O great sage, everyone in this world engages in fruitive activities to attain happiness, but one finds neither satiation nor the mitigation of distress. On the contrary, one is only aggravated by such activities. Please, therefore, give us directions on how one should live for real happiness.
So as we're hearing these questions, again, there's a lot of chapters that are just questions by it. So we should see how these questions relate to us. Raise your hand if you are having problems satisfying all your objectives in life of sense gratification. Yeah, so, oh, maybe the answer to this, maybe it will pertain to me. So let the Bhagavatam also not just be, a dry scripture that sometimes I pull off the shelf, but let you become a part of it as well, and you'll be able to appreciate it even more. Text 3.
O my Lord, great philanthropic souls travel on the earth on behalf of the Supreme Personality of Godhead to show compassion to the fallen souls who are averse to the sense of subordination to the Lord.
Mhm. Have we ever been averse to being subordinate to the Lord? Maybe I should listen to a great philanthropic person who travels around. Text 4.
Therefore, O great sage, please give me instruction on the transcendental devotional service to the Lord, so that he who is situated in the heart of everyone can be pleased to impart from within knowledge of the absolute truth, in terms of the ancient Vedic principles delivered only to those who are purified by the process of devotional service.
I hope since we're all sitting here in the Krishna house, attempting our practice of devotional service, this also can relate to us that, this is what I'm here for. We're here to practice devotional service. So let's hear some instructions on that. Next.
O great sage, kindly narrate how the Supreme Personality of Godhead, who is the independent, desireless Lord of the three worlds and the controller of all energies, accepts incarnations and creates the cosmic manifestation with perfectly arranged regulative principles for its maintenance.
That's a big mouthful. So how many of you have ever, when you were a child, do you remember, why is the sky blue? Or why is, so there's a number of questions like that Vidura will now ask. Like 6.
He lies down on his own heart spread in the form of the sky, and thus placing the whole creation in that space, he expands himself into many living entities, which are manifested as different species of life. He does not have to endeavor for his maintenance, because he is the master of all mystic powers and the proprietor of everything. Thus he is distinct from the living entities.
And so this so far is like, I want to hear a little bit about creation, how it's maintained, how the Lord enters into that. Now he's looking for something a little bit deeper. These next few verses. So let's hear that.
You may narrate also about the auspicious characteristics of the Lord in his different incarnations, for the welfare of the twice born, the cows, and the demigods. Our minds are never satisfied completely, although we continuously hear of his transcendental activities.
I want to hear about his incarnations. We've heard this same questions and answering through the many parts of the Bhagavatam already in the second canto, the same question. But let me hear the list of incarnations. So Vidura is also asking. 8.
The Supreme King of all kings has created different planets and places of habitation where living entities are situated in terms of the modes of nature and work, and he has created their different kings and rulers.
9.
O chief amongst the Brahmanas, please also describe how Narayana, the creator of the universe and the self-sufficient Lord, has differently created the natures, activities, forms, features, and names of the different living creatures.
We're getting some technicalities there. Now we certainly will get some of that technicalities in the rest of the third canto. Next, sorry.
Oh my Lord, I have immediately heard about the entire status of human society from the mouth of yesterday, and I am quite satiated with all these lesser subject matters in their happiness. They have not satisfied understanding with the nectar of the topic about Krishna.
So this, although we won't focus on this verse, this is an important verse. And we can remember this in the first canto, 5th chapter. This very point was discussed, that why was Vyasadeva himself, although he did such a wonderful work, he presented all the Vedic knowledge in so many different aspects and different expansions, but he himself was not satisfied. So the opposite of satisfied is satiated. It's like you got too much. Satiated is like, I got too much. So when we say, mostly when we hear this word, it's I'm never satiated. I'm never fully satisfied, right? But here, it's actually I'm quite satiated. I've had enough of just these rules and regulations of, you know, achar, prachar, all these different things, and how to know karmas and how to perform sacrifices that for material things. These things I've heard quite enough about that, but I want to hear about those things that are related to Krishna, and that I am not satiated or fully satisfied by. I could never be fully satisfied with the amount that can, and that will be the main focus of the next few verses. Text 11.
Who in human society can be satisfied without hearing sufficient talk of the Lord, whose lotus feet are the sum total of all places of pilgrimage, and whose worship by great sages of devotees? Such topics can cut off one's bondage to family affection simply by entering the holes of one's ears.
Power. 12.
Your friend, the great sage Krishna Dvaipayana, Vyasa has already described the transcendental qualities of the Lord in his great book, the Mahabharata. But the whole idea is to draw the attention of the mass of people to Krishna Katha, Bhagavad Gita, through their strong affinity for hearing mundane topics.
Yeah. 13. Why don't we go ahead and click on that verse 13. This is a very wonderful verse as well. We'll chant this one together. I'll try to go slowly so that all varieties of Sanskrit expertise will be able to take part. Sashradanasya vivardamana viraktiman yatra karoti pumsa. Hare padanusmriti nirvitasya samasta dukha payayam ashudate. Sashradhanasya viradhamana viraktiman yatra karoti pumsa. Hare padanusmriti nirvitasya samasta dukapyayam asudhate. Ashrudate. Excuse me. Anyone like to chant? Sashradanasya viradhamana Viraktiman yatra karoti pumsa. Hare Padanu Smriti Nirritasya. Samasta Dukha Vyayam Asudate.
Sashridhanasya vidhadamanam
Sashradananasya Viratanana.
Viyatyam anantra karoti pumcha
Viraktiman yatra karoti pumsa.
Param Shriti Nirvastasya
Hare Padanu Smriti Nirvitasya.
Sadhukapayam Asu
Date Samasta Dukkha Vyayam Ashrudate. Very good. Sashradanasya Viradamana. Viraktiman yatra karoti pumsa. Hare Padanu Smriti Nirritasya. Samasta Dukkha Vyayam Ashrudate. If we go slow, then more people can take part. Sometimes, we'll get the professional up here. So and they expect us who don't have very much of expertise in Sanskrit to follow, and then we get too shy, and then we never chant them. Okay, so for one who is anxious, so that this will hopefully remind you of another verse very similar to this. For one who is anxious to engage constantly in hearing such topics. What were the topics? Who remembers what were those topics? Last verse.
Krishna. Oh, the mundane thought.
Krishna is always the easy answer, right?
When he said he was tired of hearing lesser.
Yeah, he wants to hear the talks of the Lord, whose lotus feet are the sum total of all places of pilgrimage. So we go to pilgrimage for what? What do we go on a pilgrimage for? To remember Krishna. What else?
Association, come learn from saintly people.
Yeah, associate, learn from saintly persons. What else? Yes?
To see specific sites.
To see sites. Yes.
History.
Right? What about purposes?
Get the t-shirt.
Get a t-shirt. Yes. You can't go to a concert without a t-shirt, right? You had your hand.
To hear.
To hear. What is the purpose of all that, though? So we've so far have said things that we do. What is the purpose? For focus, good.
Increase our attachment.
Increase our attachment. Like?
To see something different from what we're used to.
Ah, yeah. To kind of experience something that maybe is there that I'm not have access to regularly. How about purification? Yeah. Yep. Huh? Yeah, of course you were. So purification, we go to be purified. So yeah, there are the externals to get the t-shirt, to get the selfie, to do all these things. But then there are the real intent. The intent is to be purified, to open up doors of things that we hadn't experienced before, and to experience them. And so he's saying, did I lose my verse? Oh, it was 13, sorry. For one who is anxious to do that, just think how much more wonderful that pilgrimage or that activity will be. When you're anxious for something, what does that do to you physically? Yeah, like
It makes it where it's difficult to sit still and like you just gotta move.
yeah, there's action involved, right? When you're anxious, there's like something, there's focus is there when we're anxious. When you're anxious, there's just one thing that is making you anxious, and that's on your mind, right? And nothing really gets in the way. You can be sitting with people, but if you're thinking, I know I'm going to get a ticket if I don't move my truck, and even though you're there, you're thinking, I'm going to get a ticket. It's in there. You're a little anxious about it. It's always there in your mind. So those who are anxious to engage constantly in hearing and chanting such topics of Krishna. What is that? What happens? That gradually increases their indifference towards all other things. Oh, so this is starting to make a comparison now. What about when we hear things about Krishna? It's different than hearing things about other things, hearing about other things. Such constant remembrance of the lotus feet of Lord Krishna by the devotee who has achieved transcendental bliss vanquishes all their miseries without delay. Who would like to be vanquished of all miseries? Raise your hand. Yes. Very good. So here's the process. Okay, but I'm not anxious to hear about Krishna. So what is my predicament? So that's sometimes a problem. And just to be a good class giver, we will read the last few verses and then we'll jump to a couple purports. Anyone like to read number 14?
O sage, persons who, because of their sinful activities, are averse to the topics of transcendence and thus ignorant of the purpose of the Mahabharata, Bhagavad Gita, are pitied by the pitiable.
Oh, what is pitied by the pitiable? Anyone? Any grammarians in here? Yes, okay.
It's like lower than the low.
Lower than the low. But who do we pity?
The fool, the pitiable.
Yeah. So if we're pitying the pitiable, that means we're also pitied, right? But yeah, pitied by the pitiable. So pitiable are like, lower than the low. Those who, we take pity on them. We give them some encouragement, but thinking and feeling and willing. And then they also have that same compassion to others. We pity those who may not be well off comparatively to us. That's who we pity. But they also, they're living, they're sustaining somehow or other, but then they also have the same feeling of compassion. Sorry to cut that off here.
I also pity them because I see how their duration of life is spoiled by eternal time, while they involve themselves in presentations of philosophical speculation, theoretical ultimate goals of life, and different modes of ritual.
Yeah, so generally when we're compassionate to others, we apply different solutions. When we pity or when we apply compassion, okay, let's just feed the person. But then the person will be hungry again tomorrow. Okay, we'll feed them again. Then they'll be hungry. But if, what is the old saying? I don't know where it's the origin. You feed a person a fish, they eat for the day. If you teach them how to fish, they can eat for life. Something like that. So what is it that they're really striving and lost for? That they're lost of this transcendental consciousness of which the Krishna Katha, and we'll talk about Krishna Katha in a moment, is missing. And 15 and 16. So this is his final plea. He's said so much so far, and now here's his plea.
O Maitreya, O friend of the distressed, the glories of the Supreme Lord can alone do good for people all over the world. Therefore, just as bees collect honey from flowers, kindly describe the essence of all topics, the topics of the Lord.
Wow. There's the last one.
Kindly chant all those superhuman transcendental activities of the Supreme Controller, the Personality of Godhead, who accepted incarnations fully equipped with all potency for the full manifestation and maintenance of the cosmic creation.
Om Ganathanandasya Ganatanashalakya Chakshunamitamina Tasmai Shri Gurave Namah Shri Chaitanya Manovistam Stavitam Yena Bhutale Svayam Rupa Kadamayam Dadati Swapadam Tikam Namaste Yidira Jaya Shri Govardhana Namadaya Shesha Klesha Nashaya Panamananda Daine Vindavani Vinde Vishvapujita Pushprasada Nandani Krishna Jivani Vishvapavani Tulsi Vancha Kalpataru Vishaki Basandubhyava Chapatitanam Bhavani Vaishnavi. So there's 3 purports that I advise you to go back and read, 11, 12, and 13. Of course, you can read all 16 of them, please. But 11, 12, and 13 speak on this topic of Krishna Katha. So what is Krishna Katha? We're going to have mostly a discussion now. What is Krishna Katha? Who knows? These are Sanskrit words. So Krishna is Supreme Person. Katha is talks. Yes, good. So there are 2 kinds of Krishna Katha. Does anybody know the 2 kinds of Krishna Katha? You can guess 2. We'll start with Blake and then we'll go to Kiara.
So one kind is glorifying his name, talking about like the Bhagavad Gita and the Srimad Bhagavatam.
Glorification of his name. Yes. So glorifying, or, and what basically Prabhupada sometimes will just say, there's the Krishna Katha that is speaking about Krishna. So that's Srimad Bhagavatam. Mostly we're hearing about Krishna, his manifestations, how he's the supreme controller. We're hearing about Krishna. We're hearing about his personal activities, his incarnations, his material creation, all the things. We're hearing about Krishna. And the other kind of Krishna Katha, Kiara?
Words spoken by Krishna himself.
Yeah, words spoken by Krishna himself. So the Bhagavad Gita is Krishna's Katha. The Uddhava Gita is Krishna's Katha. And other places, in the Harivamsa and other places where we get direct words of Krishna. And so that both kathas, they're considered the same. And one of these purports, I think it's this one. We must certainly know that on the absolute plane, so this, we're not talking about material world, or on the absolute spiritual level, Krishna Katha and Krishna are one and the same. So when we talk about Krishna, Krishna is present, just as when we say Hare Krishna, Krishna is present. We may not be able to perceive him in our conditioned state, but he's there, according to Shastra and what we're hearing. And after some time, you start to realize that. Prabhupada gives a very simple example always, that you could say water, 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 water for many, many lifetimes, but you won't quench your thirst. Actually, you'll get more thirsty. But when we say Krishna, and we're all examples where we can chant Hare Krishna for a very long time in the day. And we're getting, different levels, some days better, some days worse, but we are getting some reciprocation from Krishna, and we're perceiving Krishna more and more. And so, another statement Prabhupada says, the Krishna Katha is very powerful. It's very powerful. And this verse 13 gave a glimpse into the power for one who is anxious to constantly hear. Such remembrance of the Lord, lotus feet of Krishna, by the devotees, vanquish all our material desires. So, what are, I'd like to, examples in your life that where Krishna Katha became, very, let's say, relevant to you? Because sometimes we happen into a lecture or something, and okay, that was a nice talk. I didn't really understand half the Sanskrit quotes they talk about, but then there was a certain moment that, wow, I've heard something here. I really want to know more about that. Do you have any? Yeah, Blake, let's hear from you.
Hare Krishna. I came across this place where they do an English translation in song form of the Uddhava Gita.
Oh, yeah.
And after I heard that and then started listening to it more and then learning it and memorizing it, I started realizing that whatever's in there is something that really clicks with my heart and that I want to know more about.
Yeah.
And that was just from an English translation.
Yeah.
I still haven't even seen this Sanskrit.
Good. Yeah. Kalakanta Prabhu does a lot of that. He'll put into lyrical form all the verses of the Bhagavatam and Bhagavad Gita. It's very.
And the way that I guess it's more specifically relevant is that I started feeling like I was able to really think that Krishna is in everybody's heart. Through that. And instead of seeing the world as a world of things, seeing it as Krishna is everywhere, through that song moment.
Yeah, good. Yeah, the Padashraya, or by engaging in devotional service to Krishna, three things happen: bhakti, parishanubhava, and viraktir. I think we talked about this last time I gave class. Our devotion increases, our awareness of Krishna everywhere increases, and our renouncement of material things increases. So, what are some obstacles to Krishna Katha? Well, we kind of established Krishna Katha is talking about Krishna or hearing words about Krishna. And okay, before I ask that question, I would say, how do we increase our Krishna Katha? What are ways we can increase our Krishna Katha? Associating with devotees, exactly. That's one way. But specifically in the Bhagavatam, is on that point, it's explained that the devotees who like to engage in Krishna Katha are like swans. And if you go to the swans, you'll be in a nice peaceful atmosphere and you'll actually be able to hear what is being talked about. Whereas other things, the other type of kathas, they're like where the crows squawk, and usually that's in a garbage heap. And usually when you're in a garbage heap, there's so many distractions. There's smell distractions, there's trucks and all these things moving around. And so it's distracted to even have any katha at all. So yes, good, associating with devotees, yeah.
This is going back to the point earlier about being anxious to know. And I've heard it said this way, it's whenever you want to know, someone whose hair is on fire seeks water to put it out, or someone who's dying of thirst through the desert is looking for drinking water. Whenever you want it that bad, you know that nothing else will even satisfy, even in the slightest, that sense of urgency or anxiety about it.
Yeah.
could be, and that's almost like, anyway, that's it.
Yeah. The power of Krishna Katha, as explained by in the first canto, Srinvata Swakata, many of the devotees who've been around, they'll know this verse often, but many of you may not know this. The Srinvata Swakata Krishna, this hearing, one who gets this urge, this anxiety to hear about Krishna, when they actually engage in the hearing process, Krishna from within helps purify those things that are preventing us. So now we heard some of the things associating with devotees. What else? What are other ways we can engage in Krishna Katha?
I think it's according to releasing pride.
Huh?
Releasing the pride.
Releasing pride, right? That, okay, I'm not better than this, the Katha. Let me at least hear it.
But yeah, everybody can connect with Krishna and share some information. So releasing the pride, because sometimes people think that I've been around the block, someone needs new, they don't have the capacity.
Mm-hmm. Good. What other ways to increase? Yes.
Reading, listening to lectures.
Reading,
Have
hearing.
something to talk about.
Yeah. In those you could say non-intentional moments when we're, we go to Bhagavatam class in the morning. In the old days, we used to have it was called the ISKCON sandwich. We had the morning program, and then we had the evening program, and both were at kirtans, and they had classes. We had Bhagavatam in the morning, we had Bhagavad Gita at night, or Ishopanishad, or different things. So, as we fill those are intentional times. But then, we have abilities to hear lectures with recordings. We have books that we can engage in ourselves. We can increase our own Krishna Katha. What are some obstacles to hearing Krishna Katha? I think you got one, right? What is an obstacle?
Attachment to electronic.
Yeah, there you go. We just heard it too. It was like, what was that? Oh, okay, it diverted me. Yeah, and today's day and age, it's so difficult to be undisturbed by our pocket buddy or whatever we're calling them these days. What other obstacles? Yes.
Rukmini Devidasi who was here 9 days ago, giving an initiation. We were talking about the 10 offenses, and when she got to the last one that I read from inattention while chanting, like the one we say at the end, she mentioned that there's 3 kinds. There's like apathy, lethargy, and then distractions. So those are things that take us away from being able to communicate.
Oh, very good. Thank you.
I think the distractions is probably the biggest one, because there's like a limitless variety of distractions at any given moment,
Yeah. Not only the pocket monsters, but and then so some of the ways to kind of combat those distractions, and that's like making intention of everything we do. Like when we come to Bhagavatam class, okay, what can I do before Bhagavatam class to make sure my Bhagavatam class is better? Okay, make sure I had a good night's sleep. Make sure I didn't eat a lot just before the Bhagavatam class. Make sure I don't have any things that are on my mind. That's why we do it in the morning, because the day is not yet started for a lot of things to hit our mind. So we prepare ourselves. Even the day before, we'll prepare ourselves so that we're fresh and eager, and we can create some of that anxiousness to hear about Krishna. And other things we could, like I've stopped bringing my device into the temple room. Whenever I go to Mangalartik or go to the Lanchwa temple, I don't bring my, somebody will come up, hey, what's your what you want? I don't have it with me, sorry. Even, okay, I won't get a picture, but what else do I lose? Nothing. Actually, I gain a lot because the focus is there on Krishna. So these distractions, and I'm running out of time, but I did want to, I wanted to pull this subject of Krishna Katha to something that is very important to us in understanding our history of the ISKCON movement. And this coming weekend, this Saturday, I'm giving class in Alachua on Srila Prabhupada's arrival in America. And it just depends what Vamsa you're in, if you're the Surya Vamsa or the Chandra Vamsa. If you follow the moon calendar, it's this Saturday. If you follow the solar calendar, it's next Wednesday. So being from Boston, we always observed the solar, like September 17th was engraved in our mind. Okay, I'm going to walk down to South Boston. I'm going to go out to the Commonwealth here. And I'm going to go see where Srila Prabhupada first stepped on this continent. And so when we look at Srila Prabhupada's intention and his anxiety and his mission that he brought with him, that in itself should be inspiring for our Krishna Katha. When we think that, because about almost 5 weeks ago, it just so happened I had given the class on the day he left India. So now it's like, wow, all this time has passed, and there was Srila Prabhupada on a ship, rocking, and just this Saturday will be the day he arrives. So we just imagine that, like, would any of us, how much do we complain if we have to sit through one cycle of a traffic light? How much do we complain? It's like, oh, but Srila Prabhupada was on a boat for 5 weeks, traveling with nothing. And I wanted to, Prabhupada wrote very few of his own poetic compositions. He wrote 1 or 2 in Vrindavan when he was there. And then they were both in English. But in terms of Bengali composition, he only wrote 2 songs. And they were within 4 days of each other. And at least I don't have any information that he wrote more. At that point, his mission was to provide the Srimad Bhagavatam, to provide the Chaitanya Charitamrita, to provide all the other books. That was his mission, his purpose. But before any of that started, he wrote these 2 wonderful songs. And so one song he wrote just 4 days before arrival, but that was kind of like anticipation. He was like so enlightened. He was like, Sri Siddhanta Saraswati Sati Suttas Priyati. Lord Chaitanya has empowered my spiritual master Bhakti Siddhanta to spread this throughout the world. And he's getting anxious because he's probably hearing from the captain, we're going to be docking in about 3 or 4 days. So he's getting anxious, and he wrote this. But then, who here has ever been to Boston? A few of you. Who has ever been to the south end of Boston? Was it nice? It was the dumps, to tell you the truth. It was one of the worst parts of Boston. And that just happens to be where the Commonwealth Pier is. And it's gentrified a little bit since then. But back then, even when I lived there in the 80s, it was pretty bad. It was grungy and dirty, and Prabhupada walked out there with the captain. This was his first glimpse of America, his first encounter with what an American is and what American culture is. And he's walking through these shops and South End. Oh, the South End is the worst. It's not like Dorchester, you can, but, and then he came back to the boat and he wrote this song. And this song is like, wow, this is an intense song. We don't have much time, but he said, my dear Lord Krishna, you have shown great kindness to this fallen soul. So we all have some gratitude to Krishna. But then he said, why have you brought me here? This is the impression, coming out, going through South Boston. Why have you brought me here? Now you can fulfill your own purpose by doing whatever you like with me. I suppose you have some work to do here. Otherwise, why would you bring me to such a horrible place as this? We Bostonians, we love this song. And we love being known as like the horrible place, that Prabhupada came to. Of all the people here are covered over by the modes of passion and ignorance, feeling false happiness in their material illusion. They have no taste for the transcendental topics about you, son of Vasudeva. So I think we're all in that boat. No taste. So here's the power of Krishna Katha. Not only Krishna Katha will act on us when we engage in it, but it can act on us when somebody engages it for us. If you would shower them with your causeless mercy, then anything could be possible. In this way, you might be entertained. You might, you may get a chuckle out of this. Let's see how pitied by the pitiable these people are. And if you give them some mercy, just a little mercy. And in what manner? What is that mercy? What is the way of that mercy? Understanding the mellows of transcendental devotional service. Oh Lord, please display your mercy so that I may be able to bring them under your influence. Give me your mercy and I will give them the mercy. All living entities have come under the control of illusory energy by your will. This is the same as one of the songs about Bhaktivinoda. Itcha dvesha itcha. Tomara itchaya shava, tomara itchaya nasha. And we were Mayabash. Mayabash means residents of Maya or devotees of Maya. And he's asking, by your mercy, you can make them Maya or Parash. You can make them free of it. By your will. Therefore, if you so wish for them to be delivered, then assuredly it can happen by hearing your message. The words of Srimad Bhagavatam are your direct incarnation. Bhagavatera Katha Se Tavavatar Dira Hoyu Sune Jadi Kane Bar Bar. If a sober person listens to it repeatedly, what do we say? Nasta Pareshu Bhadreshu Nityam Bhagavata Sevaya. If a sober person listens to it repeatedly with submissive oral reception, then ... He then quotes 6 verses from the Srimad Bhagavatam. And what do you think those first 6 verses start with? Shrinvata Swakata Krishna Punya Shavana Kirtana. And I won't read them all, but I'll read. Sri Krishna, the personality Godhead, who is the benefactor of the truthful devotee, cleanses inauspicious desires from material enjoyment from the heart of the devotee who relishes his message. By we recite by regularly hearing the Bhagavatam, almost all things are destroyed and pulled out. He has such faith that just by giving them some opportunity to hear, they will become liberated from the influence of the modes of passion and ignorance, and thus all inauspicious things accumulated in the core of the heart will be dispelled. What should I do to help them understand the message of Bhagavatam? What can we do to help ourselves? What can we do to help our fellow devotees? What can we do to help the pitied of the pitiable? I am seeking your benediction so that I can convince them, for I am very tiny, fallen, and and unqualified. I have no power to do so on my own. In spite of my shortcomings, O Lord, you have somehow or other brought me here to speak about you. He didn't like just get on the boat and leave. I mean, most people, if they would have gone to South Boston in the 1960s, they would have gone on the boat and left. But he said, no, so you brought me here. Now it is up to you. I mean, I just saw what you're asking me to do, and I don't have the power to do it. But it's up to you now, Krishna. You, oh spiritual man, you have the power to enhance my words and make them suitable for everyone's understanding. So we think, okay, I want to hear Krishna's words. I mean, I don't like the purports, but the purports are Krishna's words. They're empowered by Krishna right here. He's asked them for it, and he's delivered. When you show me your causeless mercy, then my words will become pure. By thus hearing your transcendental message, all the people, lamentation, and miserable conditions will surely be dispelled. I'm going to get the hook soon, right? If you have, and then everybody, we seem to know this verse, and this is one of the most famous verses of this song. But now that you have a little understanding the power of the rest of this song, this verse hits even harder. If you have brought me here to dance, O Lord, then make me dance, make me dance. O Lord, make me dance as you like, just like a wooden puppet in your hands, O Lord, make me dance. So this is full surrender. He's given full surrender to this spreading of Krishna Katha. So how important is Krishna Katha to us? How should it be? How important should it be? How important can I make it in my life? Because Prabhupada has done it, and he's given it, and he's full surrender as an example. Although I have no devotion, nor any knowledge, although I have no devotion, bhakti, nor any knowledge, Vedanta, still I have unduly been honored by the lofty title of Bhaktivedanta. Now, if you like, O Lord, you can fulfill the real purport of Bhaktivedanta. Signed your beggar on the board of the ship down the Duta. And this is the day after September 17th. So this will be commemorated on next Thursday of this song. You can 60 years. 60 years. So I've gone way over. Thank you very much. Please engage in Krishna Katha as much as you can and spread Krishna Katha as much as you can. And inspire others with Krishna Katha. Hare Krishna.